Any concerns with either the sets of minutes from the August 11th or 21st meetings? Okay. Any issues with the abstract of audited vouchers? No?
Got two of them this week.
Two of them.
Yeah, that's what happens when we skip a meeting. We have to keep that in mind. Listed correspondence, anybody have any questions or comments with the listed correspondence?
What should we do with number 7?
7 is,
The playground one?
Yeah.
You took care
I
of it.
started it already. I
So,
repainted the post.
do we
I
need to do anything with
restored
that? So are we just, that's what I found out today, are we just gonna?
yeah, receive and file, yeah.
Okay, so no one has to follow up here on it.
Oh, I was going to put it in your committee.
Yeah, well, I look at, you see my notes here, it says refer to building lights and codes.
Oh, I was thinking
Or
DPW,
DPW,
but
could have been
Public
either,
Works.
but as long as,
And number 6, we're going to pull, Bill Skubis asked, he's not going to do that this year. He ran into some difficulties, and not that he doesn't want to do it at all, but it won't be this year.
I think it's a good idea. I think it could be a lot of fun to
Yeah.
do a Wing Fest here.
Me too.
Well, just a little history with that, because he wanted to close just a section of Central. That's a real headache for us to do. And I ran a little interference for him with Rudy and said, well, given enough notice, could he use use that parking lot and not inconvenience? And Rudy was more than receptive, so
Good.
we'd be able to get him off the street. And I talked to Bill today, and he said it just wouldn't work this year, but he definitely wants to do something next year, so I told him to reapply. And nothing else there. Resolutions, we only have 3 written tonight, and then I have another one at the end, but any problems with numbers 1, 2, or 3?
Number 1, that's Columbus Day, I think, right? Are we-
Yeah.
Do we normally have a meeting on Columbus Day? I don't remember.
It's currently scheduled, or it hasn't been
It's up to the board.
rescheduled?
If the board wants to cancel that meeting, we can.
Or we do need to have this, we do need to have the public hearing for CDBG. So instead of canceling it, if we want to move it up to Tuesday instead, do it the 14th instead of the 13th.
It's up to the board. If they want to do that, that's fine with me.
But I don't know, does anyone have plans to go out of town for Columbus Day?
All right, so we want to reschedule this to the 14th?
Is it okay with you, Mike? I know Tuesday's okay for you, or?
Yeah, I probably wouldn't be able to be here, but I could have Nicole or Ashley.
Okay. All right.
I could ask one of them to cover.
All right, you want to bring that up, Kevin?
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
Okay. 2 members to the fire department and the grant writing course for Amy. I think that's a great idea.
Yep.
And it's cheaper to half the price or double the price.
Yeah, I think she could, we have the CDBG application coming up. I think that might be a good application for her to give a go, rather than, paying for the outside grant writer. It's a relatively small lift, and I think she, with some assistance, she could handle that.
Yeah, and like she and I have talked about the project already, because it aligns with some of the climate smart conversations we've had in the past, so she's already familiar with it too. So.
Sure. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. And then I'm going to add one, number 4. It's a resolution. I sent an email out this afternoon, and again, I apologize to the board because I thought I had sent that, and I was kind of surprised that no one responded, and obviously they didn't have it. But the town has a 2017 Ford F550 chipper truck. It's a 4x2 with 10,100 miles. They wanted $30,000 for it. I got them down to $25,000. Wayne had the mechanics go out and look, and I think, Wayne, you looked at it too, didn't you?
Yeah, I looked at it too.
And any recommendations?
I think it would work out very well for what we need. We have a brand-new chipper that we just purchased probably 6 to 8 months ago, and it fits perfectly with it, and for the price, I don't think we can go wrong.
So I spoke to Mike, we can afford it, and so I'd like to see that put through this evening. Again, it's a good deal, the truck is in good shape. That's all the
Okay.
listed resolutions that I have. Anybody have anything that they would want to bring up further?
I think Mike wanted us to approve, it was a crossing guard position, right?
Yes.
Something about that?
Yeah.
And then had his veteran.
Crossing guard position contingent on a background check coming back without any issues.
Okay. All right, yeah, that's, I'm sure we're always in need of the crossing guard.
So it's, the resume is attached, right? Is that what this is? Yep. Okay.
Yep.
So it's for Patrick
Patrick
Turner,
Turner.
right? All right, let me just make a note of that on my thing here. Does the resolution have to have the pay in it?
No, it's per the budgeted sale, rate.
Okay.
Okay. Do we have enough crossing guards, Mike, or are we shifting people around?
Yeah, well, one retired and we eliminated that location was like the least concern over by the water tower roundabout. So we have one sub who can work part-time days, so if we get another sub who can work full-time. I've been considering having someone here in front of our building in the afternoons because it's really busy and it's a dangerous crosswalk right here. A lot of middle schoolers come over to the Boys and Girls Club. In the morning, it's not really a concern, but in the afternoon it is. So I'm looking at that, as well as also Walden Avenue. A lot of times, if we have someone available, we'll put a second crossing guard over there because it can be difficult for the one crossing guard to handle it. So whenever we can help him out, we do that.
You want
So
to-
I do have another application also I'm reviewing, so there might be another person I'll be recommending next time, but we're always looking for crossing guard positions. Usually you start as a substitute, filling in where needed, and then as locations open up, we, assign a regular spot.
Okay. Anything else for resolutions? Now we'll go to committee reports, and we can begin with finance and claims.
I would say just we're waiting on the survey for the paper streets. We haven't received that yet, right?
I don't think we've ordered it yet. Mark
I
was
thought
supposed to get, Mark was gonna get, I think Schutt was supposed to provide an estimate.
Didn't he go to someone else? I thought because they weren't responding. I'm so
We'll
confused.
have to check with Mark on that, yeah.
Yeah, I thought he had indicated that he had a quote from Wendell,
Yeah.
and he was going to proceed with it because he hadn't heard back from Schutt. I don't know how much
Yeah.
that cost is.
Yeah, because I think we'd have to approve it if it was enough that we would require.
Yeah, I don't think I ever saw that proposal.
Yeah, Mark has not mentioned it in a bit. I'll talk to him tomorrow and see. And also, I guess we just note during the report that we tabled the resolution for LoSAP to January 26th.
Okay. Anything else under finance and claims? Public Works, John?
I have a special guest here, Caitlin. Caitlin, would you come up? Would you mind coming up? So, and as Caitlin's walking up, just to talk about something, a few years ago, we had in the Public Works Committee list, there was the item, the discussion then about having a procedure for veterans banners, the veterans banners that hang on the poles. So we worked through it, and I had back then in May of 2023, I met with Kitty and Jim at the VFW. We never really wrote anything down. Caitlin took it upon herself, thank you, Caitlin, for doing this, for picking this up and for putting together a program, a policy. You want to just,
So I put together like a written policy/procedure for veterans banners. Right now, sometimes we'll have some people from the VFW bring in folders with some pictures. But other than that, and people bringing in their own things, there's no set guidelines as to what people have to do when they want to have one made. So this basically states you'd bring in a photo, you have to show some sort of proof, and you have to be in the Lancaster area. That way we are taking precedence towards our own residents in the town and the village. Yeah.
and we do budget 2,500 currently a year for the banners. So we haven't been, I just found this out from speaking with Caitlin over the past week, we haven't been at the point yet where we have to replace them.
Correct.
right? So we have room, I mean, we've been adding them every year, and Caitlin told me she pretty much orders them twice a year. They stay up till Veterans Day. What this establishes is really just a procedure for the most part that's already been done. And then also gives us an application form, a more formalized application form that hopefully we can put online as well on the website.
It looked
And-
good.
And then it would all be, and thank you to Caitlin, I can't take credit for this, she did this all. So I would also ask tonight then, if we can we just adopt this? Could we do a resolution just to formally adopt this procedure?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Right. I'll do that during the Public Works. That's all I have. Do you have anything else to add?
No.
Thank you for doing it, Caitlin.
Thank you.
Thanks, Caitlin.
And that's all I have for Public Works.
Okay, anything for John? Public safety, no report this evening. Building lights and codes.
Building lights and codes, a few things. We have been working on, I say we, going back in April or so, I had talked about the idea of doing a property or building condition assessment report and a draft of a building condition survey. So Bill Shutt had put together an RFP. And it was done, presented to us last week. There were some other insurance questions that needed to be answered first, which have been. I don't think I sent this out to all of you yet, did I? Or did I just do that today? I didn't. What I'd like to do, and this is going to be what this will do will be a way for us to have a good feel for our three main facilities, this building, DPW, and the North End Fire Hall, to see, it'll give long-term and short-term needs, estimates, costs, and whatever else, capital improvements that'll be necessary. It's something that would, it's better than having a surprise someday and saying, oh, shoot, we need a roof next year. I would like to send this to the board and ask that hopefully we can adopt this or to approve the RFP. Right now, it'll just be an RFP that Bill Shutt will send out to surveyors and engineers. Once we get them, we don't know what the cost will be for the report. It's not going to be cheap, but we don't know yet what it will be. But I think that it's a good investment in our own infrastructure. If we were, and the way I said it in the past, I mean, companies do this. You know, if we want to act at all like because we own assets, we own large facilities. We should be doing something to protect them and to see what the cost will be. There's a few changes of dates and everything that have to be made. I think I'll have that back from Bill in the next few days. I was hoping to, in the near future, have the RFP approved by the village. I'm not going to be at our next meeting. I'm not going to be here. I'm out of town. So I don't know if even we can approve it then with me not being here. If I send it all out to everybody and there's no large questions, maybe somebody could put forward a resolution
Sure.
next meeting to approve it. So I'll send more to you within the next couple of days. And I think that's all I have for now.
Okay, anything for John?
How is that different than the municipal building report from CPL that's on your committee list? Is that in addition to, is that?
This is in addition to, that was for one issue. of
Okay,
building.
okay, so this is, okay.
Anything else? Human resources?
Human resources, a few different things. It has been brought to my attention that since we are at the end of a seasonal season, with summer help at the DPW, leaf season fastly approaching here, it has come to my attention that we have two employees in the position that would be able to stay a little bit longer to help out at the DPW. I do not want to make that resolution, but I'm asking if somebody could to keep two employees through the beginning of December as seasonal part-time.
Is that something you need?
Yeah, we've always had it. It's just, she's just going through what we always
So
get.
this will be to change them from seasonal to just
Yeah,
part-time?
well, they're really
19.5 hours.
separated too, so one of them is only Tuesday and Thursday, the other one was Monday, Wednesday,
Okay.
Friday, so it works out real well.
So
So we only have
changing-
really one extra guy.
Changing their status to part-time?
Yep, that's all it is.
Okay,
And they're both workers, they're already here,
Until when?
December.
December.
okay. And so that motion would be to continue the seasonal employee of these two employees?
Right, just part-time now instead of.
Not part-time help, okay.
A few other things have come up. I would ask the board to review the DPW contract, as we've been notified by their union representation, that they would be ready to start discussing their contract negotiations. So any ideas of things that you'd like to review, if anybody could either submit them to the mayor or myself. If there's any questions, anything like that, we'll start that process soon as well. Last thing I have under human resources, we did have a safety committee meeting today. And it was brought to my attention that DPW employees are not necessarily trained in CPR and first aid AED usage. These guys are sometimes out there dealing with, obviously, environmental issues, the exposures, risks that they take with that, bees, just all kinds of emergency situations that may require some kind of first aid intervention. I'd like to be able to supply that to them by form of a course to get them all CPR and AED certified. If they so choose, I'd like to open that up to DPW employees. I'm starting to get estimates for that. It would be a cost of roughly around $30 per employee that would sign up for it.
Yeah, it's cheap insurance because being properly trained and having that equipment can save a life.
Not
Open it
only,
up to all employees?
we could absolutely.
Maybe we should.
I had started to say roughly around 40. That's certainly more than DPW employees, but there's also an AED here in the municipal building. So, I mean, at any point, if somebody walks in at the court, the clerk's office, anything like that, it's just an exposure to more issues that could arise. So I'll be looking at that, which kind of brings me to the second point here, why we were looking at this. The AED units that, there's one here at the municipal building and one at the DPW, along with one in the supervisor's vehicle as well, that may be coming soon to being out of date. They are ordering more products for that now, but the unit itself may be coming out of date. So it's an expense that right now is not going to have to be looked at, but something certainly in the short term.
I think we have one at the North End Fire Station too, but I'm not sure. So
Yes.
then that would be added in.
Yep, you do.
And, yeah, we would need to update that, and that's certainly,
So again, they're taking care of them now, but something in the very near future is going to have to be looked at.
okay. Anything else? Anything for Tammy?
I have a question. I remember a while back, I think Cindy was working on an employee handbook. Is that,
It is, it's going, there've been a couple of emails with Colleen. It's getting close.
okay, just curious.
Nothing else? We'll go to community events. Tammy?
Community events, a couple of things, but I think we'll go in order before we get to that. Matt, anything with the Lancaster Thrills, with that event application? I know we had kind of said at the last meeting, you know, if we could wait for your review. Was there anything?
I believe I did respond end of last week for the football viewing and the drills, my understanding. It's pretty much the same comments, you know, the plan, the scale of the plan, and where the event is going to take place, all the, you know, accessory units that are going to be involved with that. You know, what are they, where are they going to be, how will they meet all the safety requirements. I believe
Yeah.
it's on that.
So I had dropped off last week, Tuesday, I think it was, a map for the football event and then one for Fall Fest. Is there anything that, more detailed, is there anything different that you would like to see? I'm not, what else are you looking for on those?
And, you know, it was later on Friday, probably right around noon time, I did speak with Scott, emergency manager. He forwarded me one of the last emergency preparedness and operational plans. I want to share that. I just started reviewing it a little bit later on this afternoon. It's a 165-page document. It's intense. You know, I'd love to get that in your hands, and in the hands of the law enforcement, fire department. If we could simplify it enough where the applicants can understand what their role is in all of that. Again, that's the information that primarily has been lacking with these applications, is, what's happening, how does everybody know where to go, should there be an incident?
So for this last football event, I did have Scott down there. He did a walkthrough, probably a half an hour into the event. So there was a crowd there, everything, was in place and whatnot. And I wanted him to come through and look at certain elements of it. So we did, we walked through. Now granted, this was a smaller crowd than what we typically have down there. But he walked through everything from the barricades on the sidewalks, location of the porta potty, emergency exits, things, all of that kind of stuff. I did learn, where the barricades were placed for handicap accessible in that. The two on the the two on West Main Street closer to Central Avenue, certainly access all the way around, not blocking any ramps, anything like that. Two down at the other end, down by the roundabout, there still is handicap access, like using a walk through, through the park or just going on to the grass area. The other one on the parking lot side, if you're coming from that side, you're in the parking lot, you have access, to the sidewalk anyhow. That barrier though, there's not a whole lot of room to move it. His best suggestion was to say, this crosswalk, and cross over here with an arrow, just a sign.
To
That
have
was,
that on a plan and document prior to the event happening.
Okay.
So if everybody knows where to go, because heaven forbid, Scott's there half an hour into the event, and there's a life safety problem where things have to stop. How are you gonna disperse 2,000 people? That are already there, there's already an issue, and, how do you do, during the event, I think is way too late. Ahead of time, I believe is more proper, it's appropriate. It gives everybody direction on what they should and shouldn't do. Vendors, applicants, attendees, all of that. So again, this is why I encourage to have this document up front, kind of boilerplate, that they'll cover all instances, but then individualizing it per situation, because they're not all the same. Carnival is definitely different from a viewing park, right? So, again, like I said, I just started reviewing the last formal plan. It was dated July 4th of 2016. Of course, it encompassed the parade, the carnival, the fireworks displays. As I said, it's intense. It's 165 pages, but it's all there. And I'd love to share it with everybody involved so that everybody knows what to do and everybody knows what to expect when they're hosting these parties. So, again, these are just questions that I had. If I can get copies of that stuff, so it's here. Not that, we do the on-site during the event inspection. That's too late, and who's gonna deal with the additional hours that's involved, all of the associated costs that go along with it. The application fee doesn't even cover a portion of it. So, again, I'd love to work together with the committee on getting something, a standardized package, and then making sure that all the departments have their input, and making sure that everybody understands what's happening to participate.
okay. For right now, as far as Lancaster Thrills is concerned, are you wanting to, focus for that one, that we have Fall Fest coming up? We have the beer tent on the 27th, and then this is the next one after that. Do you want to focus this document, or maybe a new procedure, whatever, for that event, or?
Well, I don't want to coordinate it, I don't want to design it, and I don't want to administer it. I just want to ensure that something is there. That's the role I believe that I'm playing in the whole gamut of everybody participating. So, should there be issues that the fire department needs, they need to chime in. Law enforcement, the same thing, and even DPW, whatever direction that they could take from it. As far as the specific event for Lancaster Thrills, I sent that one on Tuesday, the 19th. I just pretty much the locations, where the stage is gonna be, how it's being built, how do you get on the stage, how do you get off the stage, what are all the safety parameters for the stage itself. Remember, this is a piece of equipment that's being brought in into the right of way. Now, how is it built, right? Is it a prefab thing? If it is, great, let it be documented that it's gonna hold however many people are gonna be on it.
Okay. And next on the list, we have the Fall Fest application, the Volunteer Recognition Day, and then the second Bills Watch Party, which were both tabled from the special meeting that we had last week or the week before. Matt, kind of with that too, submitting maps with those two events, they were kind of held over for issues, regarding this and parking and whatnot. So submitting maps, anything else detailed for those two, is that what you're looking for?
Basically, I mean, I guess my concern is, the equipment that they're viewing, I'm sure that flat screen TVs are proper. Are the wiring layouts where they need to be? Are they outside the walking lanes, outside of the egress aisles, things of that nature? I don't want to be that stumbling block, but I'm just asking for copies of that information.
Okay.
If it's not there, it's not there, and then, as I said, half an hour into the viewing, the game is playing, how do you tell somebody, all right, everybody stop, back up, we can't do this now because something's amiss.
Tammy, did Greg mention that I sent that to him a week and a half ago? I sent the maps to him and I asked for that information. I don't know if he mentioned that to you.
No, I
Yeah, a
just
week and a
took and
half.
dropped them off.
I did send it, and I asked for it, so that we would have it in time, because I knew this game was coming up,
Yeah.
and I wanted you to have it, so.
It's gonna be the exact same, there still are no.
But I asked him for
There's no
I asked him for the
nothing, it's
paper,
same.
For
the
us
map,
to get a
yeah.
copy of it, but more importantly, it's law enforcement, it's the fire
Yeah.
department, it's those that are gonna respond, that they know where everything is, right? Everybody should have a copy of it, not just
I
me,
agree.
because I asked for it, but everybody needs to have that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else for community events?
Are you going to ask that we approve those events tonight, or?
I am with a couple other stipulations that go along with it, supplying the maps, at least what we can do right now
Yeah.
for it to comply with what's been asked. No, I have nothing else.
All right, I just want to memo to the board, this isn't a village event by any means, but I'm just going to bring it up during this. October 1st is National Coffee with a Cop Day. And we did this a number of years ago when I was mayor the first time, and it was pretty well received. And we're reviving it again on October the 1st, obviously. It will be held at Gabrielle's Bakery and the coffee company, and Bill Skubis wanted to get involved in this as well. And the board is certainly invited to come in and sit down and talk with law enforcement as well as the public. We have a press release that has gone out to Lancaster Bee. They're kind of excited about it. I've notified the other media, tried to get some coverage for that, but things have changed a lot in the last 10 or 15 years, and our police department has had to change with them, and they do an excellent job. And this is an opportunity for the general public or the board or whoever wants to come in, sit down. Chief Gummo is going to have officers at each location, and they can answer questions and listen to complaints if there's any, or whatever it is. But it's a nice opportunity to jump on the back of with a national event. And I don't think our police department or our fire department gets enough credit sometimes, or the opportunities to mingle with the same people that they protect. And in the emergency services business, when we go to see the public, it's usually on the worst day of their lives. I mean, there's a first aid emergency, somebody's having a heart attack, their house is on fire, whatever. This gives us a much better opportunity to sit down and talk to them. And so again, I hope that the board will join me that day and just stop in and say hi. And if there's anything that we can do, I'm working with Lieutenant Tansky on this as well as the chief. And I think it's going to be a good opportunity for everyone. Economic development, so probably the only thing that I really have to report on tonight is we're still working on a potential band shell for the Cayuga Creek Park. We're working with the DEC, Bill Shutt and I have, we want to make sure, wherever this gets put in there, and that'll be up to the board. It's not in a floodplain, it's on wetlands, and we do have some options there. I should have an answer by the next meeting. My hope was to perhaps be able to break ground on it yet this year and then have it completed in the spring for next summer. I think this would be a very useful thing. In fact, Trustee Miller and I met with Assemblyman Shodzinski the other day. We're looking to find maybe a couple small pieces of playground equipment that kids could use down there while mom and dad are watching a concert or whatever. The kids can play along. And, I think it's a good project. Again, we have 2/3 of the band shell committed to as far as payment, so our cost may be, like just 1/3 of that or so. And it was funny when we asked for his help, we were looking at maybe $35,000. He said, can't do $35,000. And I'm thinking, you got to be kidding me. He said, it's got to be at least 50. Oh, gee, well, what a great problem to have, because we could use new benches and some other improvements down there. Board's comments, feedback are more than welcome. It's a good collaboration, and I think what we're going to do is, just push forward, and once we get all our information together, we'll get it to the board, and hopefully we can get it approved for, again, like I said, a groundbreaking this fall, and then finish it up. I don't think the project itself will take a long time to build. It can probably have it done in a month, and maybe if things fall right, we can have it up and ready for the summer season.
Would this be built by DPW, or is there, will be,
No, it would be a contractor. It would
yeah, so
go-
we'd have to probably put it out to bid then?
Oh, yeah, we
Yeah,
definitely
okay.
have to put it out.
I talked to
bid.
Amy about it.
DPW could maybe do the electrical work,
Right.
work in collaboration, that's not a problem, but other than that, it's probably, our DPW, do I think they're capable of doing it? Absolutely, but they wouldn't have the time to do this.
Right.
I mean, it's a lot going on in spring, especially towards springtime. I mean, that's when things start to gear up. So, yeah, it would be good, bid out to the public. And that's all I have right now for,
I'm sorry, can I
Oh, go.
also
Oh,
add to
sure.
that real quick? I don't know where it's going to fall, I'm thinking under this, but in light of some recent comments and conversations regarding parking in the village and whatnot, I did make contact with a local business owner, property owner in that central business district area that may have property for sale. Art, before we go anywhere, can you, because I'm not very familiar, maybe you can help me out here, if there's a piece of property that's going to be for sale with the idea of using that as additional parking, how does the village, what's the process involved if the village is going to possibly want to move forward once we have more details? How does that work?
You would come to an agreement with the property owner as to what the village is going to pay for the property.
Okay.
And then you would accept a deed from the property owner and file it with the county clerk. Of course, in conjunction with that, you would get a survey first. What the village would do to acquire this property is no different from what any other business or an individual would do. There's no special regulation.
Okay, I didn't know
You
if
need a
there was
referendum.
anything,
Of course, you need a resolution, but you don't need a referendum or anything like that. Just
all
do it.
right, there's no like appraisal that has to go
No.
with it, there's nothing
It might be
else?
advisable, but it's not required.
Okay, so it's just a agreement between you and the seller, just as any other kind of property?
That's right.
Okay, all right, that's all I needed, thank you.
okay. Sure, Chairman Michael?
We met, we had August 28th, we had our annual meeting with the DEC regarding the order on consent, and Sean Marshall is here from Watts. I'm sure Sean's going to update us on that as well as other happy news.
Other happy news? Good. I'm glad we're going to bring happy news. No. So we had the meeting, as trustee Michael said, and everything went well. They are advising that the failures that we had for the house-to-house inspections, that the easy, low-cost remedies be pursued now versus waiting for the house to sell down the road. That was one of the one of the comments from them. Otherwise, they were very happy that we're not opening the overflows and that all the other work has been done that was started being designed back in 2016, 2017, and ultimately completed in 2021. And with that, as I reported before, the flow monitoring is complete. The data has been crunched. We've put it together in report form. The item that still needs to be finished up and dusted and the I's dotted and T's crossed is recommendations for future work and additional remedies. And where that, we're trying to get that down to specific areas. There's some certain neighborhoods that are still having high flows during storm events. And instead of saying, a half square mile, try to get it down to a quarter mile area that needs additional remedy work. So that's what we're working on right now. That report was due September 1st. We've asked for an extension to October 1st. We expect it to actually be done next week, but figured they offered up October 1st when we met with them, so we figured we would take that. The smoke testing for the additional stormwater issues that are in mini systems 4 and 7. The first round of that is complete. I'm going to reach out to the superintendent tomorrow and schedule more inspection work in the next couple of days, next week maybe. We're waiting. We wanted to get back out last week, but with last week beginning school, we figured we would wait. And then this week has gotten away from us. So we'll start looking at that again next week. Otherwise, everything is moving in the right direction, and we're happy to assist the village any way that we can.
It's come a long way. And when it first started, it was made out like we were going to jail because we had so many problems. But I mean, this has been a long time and a long process. But Watts has done a remarkable job, and we're complying with that order on consent. And I think we're in good shape with it.
Yeah, we've as the superintendent's newer policy with needing multiple complaints for opening the sewer overflows has gone a long way. And the fact that we haven't been getting the complaints is very good. Again, just the data is showing that we still have some issues, and where we're going to address those issues is what we're working on.
Very good.
I always feel like we have to knock on wood when we say it, because Wayne doesn't like to say it, but it's been about 17 months, I think, since the overflows, 16 months since the overflows were opened, and it used to be numerous times a year, but I think we're beyond the stage of not wanting to jinx it, so. I don't have anything else.
Okay. Very good. Grant, Chairman O'Brien?
I'll just throw in under economic development. I included in the board packet a document that I prepared after meeting with Art, Matt, and Mike, was it last week, 2 weeks ago? I don't know. About how to proceed forward with Palmer Place, like looking at it, kind of like taking a long-term view at developing that street. The intent of writing it down in that way was essentially to serve as something to reference back in conversations with homeowners or business owners on the street. It's a document we can look back and say, refer to and speak from. One important part of that was kind of outlining a 5 or so step plan to move forward with it. So I think if you haven't had a chance to look at that, I can send it separate from the board packet if you'd like. I don't know, it was something that was actually good to write down because it got my thoughts in order on that street. And I think our next step, I'll work with Matt and see if we can have some conversations with folks on that street and talk about what we have in mind, for the future with the zoning update. Grants, busy day for grants today. We actually received approval from the DOT today to advertise for the culvert project, which is a long time coming. So I'm going to make a motion during the meeting to advertise for it. Do I have to include dates or anything in that, or just?
No, with dates be coordinated with the engineer in the clerk's office.
Okay. Firefighters Park, the electric has been completed. I think I can take that out of my committee, right? I think is that closed out?
Yes,
We have some issues there.
with-
No, it's very typical in jobs like that, but evidently when that was built, the lighting for the park has some way to be changed, different colors and
Yeah.
things like that. And I had to write a kind of a nasty email to the project manager and say, why aren't we getting instruction on this? I mean, Wayne has sent Brian down there, and they're trying to figure out something that, it's just, they really need some guidance, so I think we're gonna get that finally from them. But I mean, I just took a look at the wiring that they did for this, and I mean, it looked like a kindergarten did it. It's really substandard, so, I mean, we're working with that because the firemen would like to have that, I believe they want it displayed red on 9/11. I mean, but for example, last night, we could have changed it to red and blue for the Bills game. It's capable of doing it, but nobody
Yeah.
knows how.
Huh, all right.
They claim that there's no controller, now they claim there is a controller. Well, where is it? And it's just something that I'm,
Oh, see, and he told me that he was going to be making sure Wayne got the controller. Did you
Yeah,
know?
that never happened. Never
no,
even got
no,
a hold of it.
it hasn't happened.
Never.
And so just as a counsel of that, we're,
Because that would have brought him here.
we're in the process of, I'm sure once it gets here, it's a very simple
Yeah.
process, but for somebody to have to try to figure it out, I mean, it's repaid for instruction with this.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm on it to get it, but other than that, the lights do work. I mean, they definitely do work, but it should have never been accepted the way it was.
All right, well, so that will stay in my committee until it's closed out. With Zev Grant, we're waiting for Bill Shutt. He was working on creating a bid package, hoping to get that bid package this month so we can put that out to bid. That's for the DC fast charger for down by the park. The USDA forest tree planting grant, Amy's hoping to set up a tree planting field trip with St. Mary's High School because a lot of the trees are in that neighborhood. So I know they have an environmental club, so see if they might want to participate and help, like we did back in the spring where we had local groups come out. It would just be school students, like during their day, coming out and helping the DPW plant some trees. So I'm actually gonna help her coordinate that with the school. The updated comp plan, we're kind of in the final review, but I saw some back and forth in the emails today that we think there's a need for another meeting to look at the future zoning map and make some updates. I looked at it for 2 seconds and saw issues with it. I know others have spent more time with it and saw inconsistencies. So yeah, we want to make sure that's as accurate as possible. The DEC tree planting grant, there is actually a meeting next week to review timelines and the scope of the plantings and the various stages of that grant, as well as the reporting requirements. We have a kickoff meeting for the Pocket Park next to this building. That's tomorrow afternoon with the Department of State and Labella, the consultants on that project. Small project fund with New York Forward. All 4 projects are moving along great. Actually, Labella's been in really good contact with me over the last month, pretty much letting me know each step of the way what's going on. And their expectation is all 4 buildings should go out to bid for their projects by the end of the month, which is awesome. The TAP grant for Central Avenue streetscape revitalization, we've been meeting monthly on that. There were some questions about right-of-way based on the surveys. So apparently, the brickwork along Central Avenue, like the brick sidewalks, they go up to the buildings. The right-of-way does not extend all the way to the building. So there's like spots where there's 1.5 feet or a foot of brick that we technically can't swap out for the concrete without getting permission from the property owners. So we're actually meeting with DOT the end of next week to kind of just talk through what our options are. I imagine it's going to be something similar like we had to do with the culvert, which is like just getting easements to get permission to go in there and swap the brick out for that. But I think it affects, I think 11 property owners, one of which is us, because it's the Lancaster Urban Renewal Agency property that we just transferred over to the village. That one we can do, but the other ones we'll have to have conversations with the owners.
So that was all done with the last streetscape. So was that done with or without, and maybe those, do they obtain easements then or permission then, is what I'm saying?
It was 25 years ago or 22 years ago, like 2003?
2003,
Yeah. So I wasn't able to find anything, like, but, yeah, I don't know. And like, this is a DOT grant, and they're very, very specific, like, you got to have
Yeah.
permission, or they just won't pay for it. So an alternative could be that we use the grant money to pay for what we can, and then separately work on getting permission with the property owners to go in there and do it, that maybe not as formal as an easement, but that just seems like, A, it's gonna be extra expense on the village, and B, might just cause issues down the road. Someone else will be sitting here having the same conversation 23 years from now about redoing the sidewalks. And real quickly, I'll just go through the wayfinding and fire equipment grant. We got some, an email back from DASNY on that, and there's some documentation to be filled out. We can't spend any funds on that still. We have to wait until we provide them with the documentation they need, they can review it, and then they'll give us a grant disbursement agreement. At that point, we can start spending the money. So it's still in the works. And finally, with CDBG, the splash pad at the North End Fire Hall, I've had conversations with Parkitects, and they're going to be providing me an estimate. I did see, like, for the package I selected, like, I gave them like an idea. So just the straight-up package was $118,000, but I asked for certain customizations. I want to do like a firefighter theme, so it has like a fire hydrant and like a fire hose, and paint it up like red and black, just because it's right next to the fire hall. So they're going to apply those to that package, and then give me a final estimate on that. I think that's it for grants.
Okay, anything for Gavin? Okay, Tech and Marketing, Chairman Miller.
So this is the first meeting we have on YouTube. I know that's very exciting. So after this meeting, Mike's going to go in and, what, are you going to put a link to the website?
Yeah, just confirm everything
Yeah.
went correctly, and
Yeah.
then we'll take the link from the village Facebook page and put it on the website so it's
Yeah.
available, and we can, post it in other places as well.
Yeah, and that way you don't have to have social media, because a lot of people don't like Facebook and social media, so they'll be able to see them just by having the internet. That's all I have.
Okay, anything for Chairman Miller? Not Climate Smart, Gavin?
We had our Climate Smart Task Force and Forest Advisory Board meetings last week. The minutes from those meetings and the presentations that Amy went over are in the board packet. So yes, take a look at those. So during Fall Fest in a week, right? It's 20th, right?
20, yeah.
Yeah. So 2 weeks. Fall Fest, and Amy's hosting the Sustainability Expo again. That was really successful last year, a really good time. She has a bunch of vendors coming out. I recommend you stop by and check out what, I think there's going to do like some EV car demonstrations, and I don't know, a whole bunch of stuff. I guess you can maybe win a composter, I think. So it should be fun. Additionally, on the 23rd at the Lancaster Library, Amy's hosting the Climate Action Game. This is a game that was created by UBRI to put yourself in the position of a government official looking at different sustainability options, or just like green choices you can make to make your community more sustainable and resilient to climate change. I played it twice. It's a lot of fun. It's a good time. So I recommend going to the library on the 23rd. I think it's at 6 o'clock to play that game. And finally, I reached out to DOT about getting some wayfinding on Broadway. We have those EV chargers down at the park, but no one knows they're there. So I asked if they could look into possibly allowing us to put up signs, or if they themselves could put up signs that point people down to the park for those charging stations. And I got a response back, but they're looking into it. That's it for Climate Smart.
Okay, anything for Climate Smart? And the only other thing that we have listed is the splash pads improvement with Mrs. Babcock. Anything on that, Tam?
No, she, I believe she just came back from vacation and school started. She's a teacher, so
Okay.
I'm sure.
Okay, that's it for committee reports. We'll go to department head reports. Superintendent Cisco?
I just want to discuss the purchase of the Napa tracks that we were going to do it's a scanner that we purchased probably 5 months ago. This scanner, takes care of all the stuff we know what goes wrong with the vehicle. So we've been sending it out for years, so it's been costly. That's the reason why we got the scanner. But we need an update with the scanner, which is a monthly cost of $508, which is for Napa Tracks, which happens to be who we deal with is Napa. So what would happen is we'd put it into the computer, and then it would go right to Napa and to us, and it would tell us what's wrong, and Napa would deliver the part to our shop without any, and it just saves us a lot of time and money. And the monthly cost will probably be taken away in April because we will be getting rid of the purchaser we have now, so it would compensate for what we lost. So that's the reason why we're doing it.
Yeah, I have no problem with that. You want to bring that up, John?
No, I'm good with it. I spoke to Wayne about it today, and we are saving money at the end of the day. We're saving money, period.
Right,
But at the end of the day, there's, it's
right.
offsetting.
The cost it will
no longer
offset
happen.
in April. So in April, it'll offset the whole
good.
cost. Okay. And that's all I have.
Anything for Wayne? Okay, I just want to, again, mention, you guys get asked to do an awful lot of things on the spur of the moment. I know there's things I've asked you, and I just want to thank you for your cooperation. Your department is always on top of everything, and things are looking good.
Thank you very much.
All right, Clerk Treasurer, Mike?
Nothing really. Our independent auditors will be getting their field work for the audit next Monday. It's a little later than usual, but, so the audit will be moving forward.
Okay, anything for Mike? Code Enforcement, Matt Fischel?
Just a public service announcement, we're heading into harvest season, the whole weekend candy. But I was also subject to a couple of thieves that stole all my peaches off of my tree, so the rodents are out there. They're looking for a place to eat. The vegetables are all becoming ripe, so let's be mindful of our homegrown gardens, get rid of the rotten vegetables, harvest the ones that are edible, and, you know, just kind of keep a close eye. And also the areas of harborage, meaning areas underneath decks, underneath sheds, those cavities that are open. Make sure that those are all sealed off. It's just going to help in the long run. I mean, you're not going to eliminate the rodents, but it'll help thwart them, and so that, you know, they can find somewhere else to live where they belong, by the creeks and the forests and everywhere else, as opposed to our backyards and neighborhoods. But that's about it.
All right, thank you. Anything for Matt? Chief Feldman?
Nothing right now.
Okay, terrific. Captain Smith?
I have none, thank you.
Okay, Art?
Nothing.
Okay. Did I miss anyone? I don't think so. Yes, and you are?
Holly, we speak a lot, like during email. I own 5 Yoga Lab over in the Old State lot. I just wanted to present a parking map that I've been working on the last couple weeks in efforts to kind of help with the parking issues that we've been having downtown. And I'm just kind of looking for some feedback on it from whoever wants to be involved with me. It's not completely accurate, but I have a few copies of it. And eventually, Gavin and I were actually talking, we want to get like trifolds printed out for each table at all the businesses around the central business district, and get a printed flyer to go right in front of like Fatty Beer Co. where that big pillar is, just kind of like a mall directory. So it helps people kind of walk around and know where to park, where each business is, and everything's color coordinated. So it's all listed on the second page, so essentially it'll be like a trifold that goes into each business. And I'm just kind of looking for some feedback, and yeah. kind of
Okay,
move
thank you
with
for
this.
taking the time to
Got
do it.
a
Want to give
couple
us a
copies,
mic?
and obviously we don't have to figure something out today, but I'm happy to email a copy of it as an attachment. Kind of get this ball rolling and efforts to help with the parking issues.
Well, thank you, we appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thanks, Holly.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, thank you. You need like one more.
We can share.
Okay. 'Cause I
And
have, I have an electronic.
I think that's it for the meeting.
There's 2 going around, aren't there? This is great.
No, it's a good idea.
Some things need to get tweaked, but yeah, it's actually
No, it's
really
actually
nice.
not bad.
Yeah. Parking back here.
Yeah, you could do that too.
All right,
I think it's just like one piece of the puzzle, you know, once
Right.
we get the wayfinding put up for parking too, that'll help, and
I'm going to get the live stream off and ready for the board.
okay.
I can see this. How did I see this before? You said that?
I said, I showed it to you.
Remember she said not to print it?